on the News Channel 5 network. This is OpenLine.
Hey, happy Monday, everyone. Welcome to Open Line. I'm Jessica Ralston. Tonight we're talking hot real estate in Nashville. So if you're in the market to buy a home, maybe thinking about selling your home, or you're just trying to decide where's the best neighborhood to move, we got the expert here. Shane Tallant is here. He knows all about what's going on everywhere in the city, in the metro area, so he can help you out and answer your questions. Give us a call here, 615-737-PLUS. We're going to be talking about the hot neighborhoods, whether the bubble's going to burst. Is it a buyer's market, a seller's market? We're going to break it all down over the next hour. And when you talk about, quickly, before we get straight to Shane, talk about hot markets. We know the Gulch is a hot spot. East Nashville is coming up. Germantown, people are moving there too. But another new hot spot has emerged, just in case you didn't hear, to the already booming real estate market here in Music City. We're talking about the area around Sulphur Dell, the new ballpark area downtown as well. They're doing some building and rebuilding now, and people are talking about it. There's a big buzz. And here's News Channel 5's Todd Walker with a look.
If you look closely through all that is new in Nashville,
this building has seen a long life.
You'll find what is old has a new draw.
They started out shoeing mules and horses here.
For more than 100 years inside this building, the Geist family fixed and built whatever it was getting Nashvillians around a growing city.
It harkens back to Nashville when it was a series of outposts and what they called stations.
But since the business closed in 2006, this old workshop and home have sat empty, watching traffic and time and progress pass it by.
This place tells a story as it is today. Our hope is that we can identify a good mix of users.
But with new neighbors moving in the form of a brand new baseball field, the few blocks between Germantown and downtown is now prime real estate, specifically turning the old into the new. Ronnie Wensler says he gets almost daily interest in the old Geist building. And next door,
the back building is 70, 80 years old.
What the old can become. This old furniture warehouse and showroom is a project which began back in 2012, before the baseball site was even chosen. There was a definite flavor in this area.
It's not plunked down and could be anywhere in the United States of America and corporate.
And as the centerpiece of the Sulphur Dell area rises, so are plenty of other developments.
Hundreds of units on that corner, hundreds of units over here that are under construction actually.
All looking for a piece of the new amongst the old.
It really is the anchor of the original Nashville.
Todd Walker, News Channel 5 HD.
All right, Shane, what do you have to say? What are you thinking? Are you seeing a little growth in that area?
My phone has been ringing off the hook of people trying to get into that neighborhood because of the ballpark and all of the retail that's going to go with it. You know, years past, that wasn't necessarily the most desirable
Right.
for obvious reasons. And then there's also the train that runs through there, which is not too far from here.
Which we can hear, if you listen, we can hear it right now. It runs behind our station.
So there's, district lofts are down there, Harrison Square condos are down there, and I just got off the phone on the way over here with a client interested in a unit that's available at Harrison Square because they see the potential of once that ballpark is in play, no pun intended, all the retail, that Sulphur Dell area is going to be one of the new spots with a lot of eyeballs on it.
Absolutely, and I'm sure it'll happen quickly. That ballpark is slated to be open by this time next year, so 1 year from now. So, right, we're going to see people moving in there and it becoming this whole revived neighborhood. So it's just one more area for people to move into. And I think just from the perspective of me just moving into the city 6 months ago, it's just shocking to me how many people are coming into the city. Real estate, a place to live, is in such high demand.
Yeah, and my office is in the Gulch, so I specialize in that urban core. Not necessarily mostly condos, but we sell a lot of condos. And, it's the inventory is so low, so it's clearly a seller's market. And we were talking before the show started that a smart seller, could essentially put a for sale by owner sign in the ground, and you're probably going to get phone calls, you're probably going to get someone knocking on your door with an offer, but there's a lot more that has to happen to get it to the finish line and get to that closing table, and that's where real estate agents come into play. So yes, it is on paper it's a seller's market, but it's still very competitive, moving very fast, and so there is a lot of I's that need to be dotted and T's that need to be crossed in terms of completing a sale. There's a difference between an offer and a contract and then a closing. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, and not an easy process if anyone's ever been through it before. So speaking of, your office is over there in the Gulch on 12th Avenue South, and one of the biggest projects in the city is taking place in the Gulch right now, and we've mentioned it on our newscast on News Channel 5 several times, and that's the 1212 building, which you said right now is the only new condo building going in the city right now.
Yeah, if you look around, I mean, you see cranes all over the skyline,
yes,
and 90% of them are apartment buildings going up, and some commercial space as well. Even in the Gulch, there's a new commercial building going up. 1212 is an exciting new project that I'm really close to, because the sales office is actually in my office at Parks in the Gulch.
Yeah.
And my business partner is on the sales team there, so I'm really close to the project. I'm not on the sales team, but I probably know more about it than anyone else that's not on the team, just because of the proximity, how close I am to the day-to-day.
Right.
It's an exciting new project. Developer is Ray Hensler, who, if you're familiar with the Adelicia building over in Midtown, this is his next big project. And Adelicia was incredibly successful. Now everyone that lives there that got in early is now, cashing their checks, and a lot of them are moving out of there to move into the new project because it's shiny.
That was going to be my next question, because I've seen some real estate in the Gulch, like some things open up, and I'm wondering if those people are going to cash in, make a little money on what they've initially invested in several years ago, and then go over to 1212.
It's happening. It is, and it's just because, whether they're an investor or owner occupied living in the condo, typically people want shiny and new, and they have an opportunity to get that with 1212.
Right.
Not to say that the Encore building downtown isn't an amazing building. They've got big plans. They're redoing their lobby, and it's going to be all brand new and
nice,
sexy and fast paced, and there's restaurants everywhere. And then you've got the Icon, of course, in the Gulch. They've got plans too to kind of put some money into it and bring it up to new. So there's everyone's realizing what's happening, the shortage of inventory and the competition and the level of, there's a ton of buyers, but 1212 has what everyone wants right now, because there's 286 units available for sale.
And it's got a lot of amenities, and we're going to talk about those in just a minute, because it does seem like it's going to be the cream of the crop when it comes to condo living in the city. So a lot of exciting details about that building, but first we're going to take a call from Eric. How you doing, Eric?
Hi there. I had a question. If I want to sort of get ahead of the game in the next hot neighborhood besides Fulfordell and move before it booms, where would that be? Are there a few locations that in the next 2 or 3 years we know it's going to be great to move to?
It's a good question.
Do you have a real estate agent, Eric?
Not yet.
You do now. Well, I would say there's a couple neighborhoods. The Nations over off Charlotte, they call it the Nations. So Sylvan Park, Sylvan Heights, and the Nations. They're doing a lot of development over there. There's also, believe it or not, the Fairgrounds area has a lot of eyeballs on it.
Okay.
So across the street from the fair, like literally across the street from the entrance to the fairgrounds, up those hills, up in that area, there's a lot of eyeballs on there where people are coming in and buying older homes and piecing them together, and then plan for some development over there. So if you're willing to get into a neighborhood that might not necessarily be dialed in, so to speak, or more of a transitional space, those are two areas that I'm getting a lot of calls about, and I'm kind of feeling the waters out to see what exactly is over there and what's happening. Obviously, Sylvan Park was one of those areas a few years ago that now you look at it and now nothing even hits the market. I get calls daily of someone saying, I want to be in Sylvan Park, and I have to call other agents and see what they have coming soon, because nothing even hits the market, because they snatch them up, the good stuff, before it even goes on the MLS.
Well, they're doing, I think, I've seen just from looking online, they're doing a lot of overhauls and rehabs over there and freshening everything up, and so you can get into, which is pricing is one thing we'll talk about, because it's certainly expensive to live in the city compared to going out to the suburbs. So we can get into that question in a minute too, but let's go back to 1212 then and focus on, as you mentioned, it's the developer of that, Alicia. So you have this next generation building coming up, which is really impressive. Tell everyone about what's involved with that building that's going to set it apart from these other developments.
Well, I'll tell you, first of all, Ray Hensler is incredibly detailed when it comes to, when he finishes something off, the attention to detail is over the top. So, and you see that when you walk in. It's brand new. They're using, the countertops are a click up from granite. The amenities, they have a live green roof on the 5th floor that's going to have native grasses, different heights, and a real Bermuda grass park. So at Alicia, if you're familiar, They have a park, but it's outside across the street, private for the residents. They've brought that park into the building on the 5th floor, and it wraps around to a heated saline pool with a hot tub. They've got grills, and they've got like native woods called ipe wood that is throughout the whole amenities areas. Just a click up from what's been done here in town. If you've walked into the Omni, the new Omni, and if you walked into the lobby, it's that feel.
And it's a beautiful lobby over there. So
they'll have 24-hour concierge and security and covered parking, and there's going to be a 7,000 square foot restaurant space in the downstairs. It's going to be a true farm to table restaurant where the chefs can actually go up to that green roof, and they'll have a garden up there where they can get their lettuces and herbs and bring it down. So literally they're traveling 50 feet to go get their lettuce and come down. So there's just some cool aspects to the building.
Like they have a great fitness center. It's going to go in there.
Yeah, nearly 4,000 square feet of workout room that's going to be personal trainer driven. So there'll be a personal trainer on site that you can use as an occupant or a resident of the building.
Okay, and very, very important in Nashville, a pet-friendly building too.
Yeah, they have a synthetic pet run inside, and they're now working on getting an actual green space, working with Metro to get the green space on the outside. But they have this is crazy, it's going to sound crazy, but they have a device called the K9000 where you actually hook your dog up to it, and it's like a car wash for your dog. They sprays them down, washes them, fleas, ticks, all that stuff, and then you be on your merry way. Yeah, so they really have no stone unturned. They've paid attention to detail. They've thought of everything. But again, you're going to pay for it. I mean, it's not cheap, but I think they're priced competitively with the rest of the market.
Okay, that would be, of course, my next question. I'm sure everybody's question at home. Even when you see the postings on Facebook about 1212, what's the first question under every comment? Everyone says they want to know about the pricing. Tell us where they start, low to the top.
Sure.
Like you said, it's not, you're going to have to pay for all those amenities and to be that close to downtown.
Yeah, you do pay for it. It's brand new. I mean, it's like buying a 2014 Mercedes versus buying a 2006 Mercedes. There's a difference. I think, off the top of my head, the smallest unit is 703 square feet, starting at $268,000, all the way up to a unit that is 3,900 square feet on the 23rd floor. That was 2.5 plus something, or I don't know the exact price, but all penthouses. There's 7 penthouses. They've all been reserved with people waiting in line to get them. So they're in a reservation phase. So they're not available right now to move into. They'll close out probably in September, but they're taking reservations now that you can put a tag on the unit that you want.
You can put the tag on. Now, though, and obviously you said these units are going fast. If you can imagine, it's kind of shocking to me to hear all these penthouses are already reserved. So especially at that price point, which is pretty impressive. But how many did you say? You have 75 in all in the building that are already reserved?
Yeah, and I'm just spitballing here, but roughly 70 plus units of the 286 that are available for sale are reserved. So they're in about 8 weeks. So they're almost doing one a day.
Right. And before we go to break quickly here, when will a model be open so people that want to see it before they buy go in there and get the grand tour?
There's actually a sales center that has a partial model set up, has a kitchen and some of the floors and things like that, and all the finished packages. You can touch them and put your hands on them now in our office in the Gulch, and then they will. I mean, it's a TBD when you can actually. They're going to move the sales office into the building. I'm not sure, but they're planning on closing the first units out in sometime late August, early September.
Wow!
And once that happens, then people will be in the building.
Okay, excellent. Well, all right. Call in if you have any questions about any neighborhoods or pricing or what's going on in the city. We'll try to get them answered for you. 737 Plus. We'll be back in just a minute.